спорте?
No, so I mean, yeah, I'm very content with my career. I'm very happy about what I was able to achieve in bodybuilding, but it's past. It's past. That was the past, and this is the present. So presently, no, I have no feelings of ever trying to come back or come out of retirement. It doesn't bother me now because I'm retired. It doesn't bother me that I never won Olympia because most of the time I meet fans all over the world who tell me I am the uncrowned Olympia. So for me, it's better to have the accolade from my colleagues and my fans that they feel that I did win the Olympia, instead of having the Olympia trophy at my house and people looking at me and saying, "You never won. You don't deserve that." So, as I said before in another interview, a trophy, it sits in my house. It collects dust. No one sees it because it's just in my home. Honestly, my Olympia medallions, they're in a box somewhere in my garage. I don't even know where they're at. But it's more of a prestigious accolade for me to meet fans and for them to tell me that they felt that I should have won. That means more to me than the actual Olympia title. And like I said, I'm retired now, so I can have that type of mentality. But obviously, as a competitor, I was very furious about it, and I felt I should have won at least once, and I was very agitated about it. But that's over 2 decades almost ago. So now it doesn't bother me. I'm more interested in the business side of things. I'm very excited to have my company Mex launch here and to have my special Pro Line Flex Wheeler Pro Line launched here, and I'm super excited. And this is my way of trying to give back. I can give back through my nutrition and my products and my seminars and doing great interviews like this. I can give back to my friends and my fans all over the world. So that means more to me. I'm not going to be stuck in the past about what didn't happen. I'm more currently trying to focus on what I can do as a person now. Yeah, so I mean, it's not sure whether it's politics or not, but there's facts, okay? Like 1 + 1 = 2. That's a fact, right? It's undisputable. So the facts are that I was 17 points ahead after the evening show, and Ronnie was not even in the top rankings. Okay, me and Ronnie, we took a taxi home back to the hotel together after prejudging, and Ronnie stated to me that Joe Weider had offered him a contract, and I said, "Damn, man!" I go, go take it. He goes, "Man." He goes, "Flex, I've been a pro longer than you have. Joe Weider never even shook my hand before." He goes, "Now he's offering me the contract." And I said, "Ronnie, man, take that, man." So ironically, me and Ronnie take a taxi back to the show that night. And I said, "What'd you do?" He goes, "Man, I signed with him." I go, "Hell yeah." He goes, "How much he offered you?" And he told me how much he offered him. I said, "Man, cool." Now, the other fact is I was a Weider athlete, okay? And 17 days before the Olympia, I signed with another company, okay? So I was now a biochem athlete, no longer a Weider athlete. So the interesting thing again, and you can draw your own conclusions, is factually, at that time, I was considered one of the best posers in the 90s. And factually, Ronnie was considered one of the less posers in the 90s. That's a fact, right? So, by some magnificent reason, he beats me in a posing round. I'd never been beaten in a posing round before in my life. So he beats me in a posing round, and then he beats me in the pose down, which is another artistic way of posing. So, and he ironically ends up winning the show by 3 points. So those are facts. So is it a coincidence that he signed with Weider during prejudging? Is it a coincidence that I left Weider 17 days before the actual show? And is it a coincidence that I was considered one of the greatest posers of my era, and he ends up beating me in posing? So you draw your own conclusion from that, but the facts don't lie. So there you have it. But here's another fact. Me and Ronnie are friends. We've always been friends. and we were friends before that and after that. I'll let you go ahead and say what I said in Russian, and then I'll give more information. So, those are the facts, and they don't lie. You can draw your own conclusion from that. But what I don't get caught up in is I was never angry at Ronnie. I don't hold it against any competitor who beat me, because they're only trying to do what I'm trying to do. They're trying to be the best in the world. Why would you go and be pissed off with them? That's a sign of a poor champion. You're not a champion if you're going to be mad at the person. If you want to be mad about your placing, you have a right to do that. You want to be upset, you want to be disagree with your placing, you have a right. You're a competitor. You want the best out of yourself. But what I appreciate greatest about Ronnie and our friendship is just about a year ago he publicly announced that it doesn't matter, that he feels that I was the reason why he won every Olympia that he ever won, based on the things that we talked about, and privately in my room. Ronnie, when he met with my brother for the first time, he looked at my brother and shook his hand and said, "Man, this is the real Mr. Olympia here. We both know what really happened, and it is what it is." But at the end of the day, what is he supposed to do? He's a champion. He wanted to win, and he was able to win. I don't hold that against him whatsoever. And it's the past. I've moved on since then. So. Now here's the last fact that I'll stay on at. Ronnie Coleman is the greatest Mr. Olympia of all time. I don't think that anyone will ever defeat his size and his condition that he brought to the table. So regardless, whatever conversations me and Ronnie ever had, and he took that to heart, he did that hard work, and he forged himself into the champion that he is now. And it was an honor to be able to say that I stood on stage and did extreme battle with the greatest Mr. Olympia of all times. If people think that my era was a golden era, man, that's great. Geez, thank you. I appreciate that compliment. But probably the guys who are competing now think that they're the greatest that competed also. So it's almost an opinion that people have, because I've met people who will tell me that, hey man, you never looked this great as Phil, and you never could. And then I have other people say, Phil never looked at you. So that proves that it's a person's opinion. There's no way of factually saying it, because we'll never compete against each other. So it's different people's opinions. There's nothing I can change. I'm retired. I'm not a judge. I'm not an IFBB affiliate or anything like that. So I have no power of change or anything like that. The only thing I would like to see and continuously see is just whoever it is. I don't give a damn whether you're from Mars, freaking Venus, Russia, or Greeceland and Ireland. It doesn't matter. If you're the best man, then you deserve to win, period. That's what it should always be about. That's all I really care about, is that whoever's the best on stage, I don't give a damn whether they're straight or gay or freaking from Pluto. If you're the best freaking competitor on stage, then you deserve to win. Where you from or what color you are or what you represent shouldn't have anything to do with it. It's a sport. It's not a personality show. It doesn't really matter whether somebody likes you or not. That shouldn't be one of the judging criteria. It's about being the best on stage. So as long as the best person on stage wins, I could care less. I'm happy. I have no preference whatsoever. Just a sport that I love and gave me everything that I have now. I just want to see that it continues being honest and the greatest sport on earth. Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel that if I didn't run into the health problems, I would have eventually won, because Ronnie ended up retiring, and that could have been another door opening for me to win. I don't know why certain things happen, but I was dealt these cards of this rare kidney disease that I have, and I still have it to this date. So I definitely feel that it was a timing situation to be able to win Olympia, and I just ran out of time as far as health-wise. So it's nothing really I can do about that. And when I was faced with this disease that was threatening to take my life, I really had to focus on more about just living than not. Actually, in 1999 is when I found out that I had this rare kidney disease, and they told me then that I wouldn't, that I would die before I got out of my 40s if I didn't get a kidney transplant. But I didn't think what they were saying was possible. I mean, I basically looked like Superman. So how could you tell me that inside me there's something, you know, very unhealthy that's trying to kill me, like kryptonite or something like this, right? But throughout the course of 99 and then 2000 and 2001, me getting in worse shape, it was obvious that the rare you know, kidney disease that I had was getting stronger and stronger. So I had to make a decision. You know, do I want to fight and win this elusive title as Mr. Olympia and then die, or do I want to live and have to suffer and walk away from the sport that gave me so much? And I chose life over death. So we're going to start with back. We're going to do 3 movements. One of my favorites is back. It's a pull down, but I like to do them to the rear. So let's go and we'll get started, and I'll explain as we go on. So is there a pull down machine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll start the first set, and then when he's doing his, I'll kind of demonstrate. But you know, for me, one of the things about training is, you know, a lot of people always make these comments. You know, I don't train hard, or I don't yell or do all this spitting and screaming. But you know, for me, it's an inner battle, and I've always believed in like a mind-muscle connection. So a lot of the times when I'm training, I'll have my eyes closed because I don't want any obstruction from what I'm looking at outside, and also I'm trying to concentrate on mentally connecting with the muscle. So a lot of times when a person is training back, it's very hard to do that, because you can look in a mirror and I can see my bicep and I can move it, or I can move my pecs because I can see it. It's a mind-muscle connection, but you can't see your back. So it's very difficult for a lot of people to connect with their back because they don't have that connection with the muscle. So a lot of times they're using their arms first. So one of the things I want to explain is when I start, as I come down, what I try to do is I engage my lats first instead of going here first, okay? So also I like to pull to the rear because I think it causes more greater development for the rear back. So I'm contracting with my back first, and then my biceps come in and I engage and I contract here. So it's just completely is pulling down here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's most difficult about the back is like I said again, you don't normally have a good connection with it. So when I'm training somebody, or I have a training partner, if they're an amateur and doing that, if I touch them anywhere, mentally he feels that, he understands that, and he can contract that. So a lot of times when you're training with a partner here, if they don't have a good mind-muscle connection, all I do is I just put my hands here. So now he can contract the muscles in my hand, and that helps him train the muscles to be able to do that. But again, one of the biggest things, like I said before, is engaging of the lats first before you bring in the bicep. Because the bicep is such a superior muscle in this movement, you want to try to engage the back first in doing so. When I'm on here, obviously I'm going to raise this up because I want to try to cause as much tension here, so when I go heavier and load. The other thing on the way I try to contract, I believe in like a rhythm. Like the heart has a rhythm, we walk, we have a style of the rhythm, right? Music has a rhythm. So when I'm training, I'm doing my exercise, I like to have a rhythm. So what I try to do is if I'm going heavier, and as you see, even when I'm talking, I'm closing my eyes because I'm connecting to what I'm trying to say. But I try to find my rhythm, and I ride that rhythm. I consistent, whatever it is. If it's fast or not, I try to stay on that rhythm. Now, when I start to stumble, or if I start to get weaker, what I'll do is I'll stop and I'll hesitate for a second. Then I'll try to ride that rhythm again, because you'll find that you have a little bit more strength if you just wait a second. But I believe in that so much, because everything in a human body is harmony. So I don't believe in this just rough follow, because that's not how the body works. The main thing I want you guys to take from it and understand is, this is the way I train, This is my thought on how I do it. It doesn't mean if somebody else is doing it differently that they're wrong and I'm saying that they're wrong or they're stupid. No, I'm explaining how I do it, so I can only explain the way I do it. So I'm not trying to point out that somebody else is wrong or your trainer is teaching you wrong. No, this is just the way that I choose to do it and the way I found that works best for me over the last 4 decades of training with weights and everything. So as far as arm position, being that I'm coming to my back, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my elbows where I'm coming and I'm pinched. If I come here, then I'm going to bring more to my front, right? And you see also my biceps kick in, they come into play. So I try to keep them pointed back and then I'm contracting, pulling back from here. So as I'm pulling, I'm actually pulling and I'm contracting here with my lats. So my elbow position is going to come here again. If I bring it here, then I'm bringing my biceps more in the forefront and more of the play of it. So I'm trying to, because no matter what, as you start to pull, it's going to come into play. So I'm trying to keep it out of play as long as possible. So I'm actually pulling here, but then I'm contracting from my lats and pulling down here this way. So they're coming back at a difference. When I'm doing pull-ups, pull-downs from the front, yes. When I'm doing that, they're going to come more to the front because I'm leaning to the front there. But still, the same thing. I'm not going to pull here. I'm going to pull here. So as you can see, my bicep isn't coming into play. But if I turn and I pull here, you see it flex at the beginning. So the same thing. I'm always trying to pull from the lats as much as possible. But obviously, the bicep is going to come into play. And again, just contract from pulling here. There you go. See, the more I put my hands in, the more you can fill and contract all the way down to the full range. There you go. Yep, just contract everything in my hand. There you go. Good. That's perfect. When I put my hand there, can you feel yourself contract more? So that's kind of a thing, like if you're training with a training partner and you haven't got that connection yet, just have them put their hand there. Even something as simple as calves. I remember when I was trying to get my calves to grow more, I would lean down on the calf. I'd just put my hands here and I would just contract. But it keeps your mind there. It keeps you honest about it because you can feel it. Because a lot of times when you're doing a muscle and it starts to lose its ability to contract, your mind goes somewhere else. But if I touch you, immediately your mind you felt that. And you can go back to that muscle and start engaging it again. And it always makes basically a range between 10 to 20. And what I believe in is when I go in a gym, my mind frame is to go in there and destroy the gym every time I go in there. But sometimes what I want and what my body delivers is two different things. So what I started to do is not get caught up in how much weight I moved in a gym, how much weight. Because a lot of times that, for us, it signifies how good of a workout. Man, if you can go in there and move a lot of weight, it's a great workout. So what I start to understand, and even more so as I get older, is I just want to go in and have maximum output. No matter what the weight is, if I'm delivering maximum output at my strength, the weight is irrelevant. Say one time I go in a gym and I squat, let's not get caught up in numbers. So say I go in a gym and my maximum squat on a squat rack is 10 pounds, okay? And I'm puking and I'm crying. I can barely do 10 reps with 10 pounds, okay? And the next time I go in a gym, I'm squatting 12 pounds and it's easy and I'm laughing. Which time did I have a harder workout? It was with the 10 pounds. So I just believe in maximum output because the body doesn't know whether it's 10 or a million pounds. It just knows that it had to exert maximum output to be able to move that weight. So now I try to lock my mind into just maximum output, maximum workout, and not get caught up in the numbers of it because the body doesn't know any different at all. All right, so next move we're going to do is one-arm cables. And the reason I like to do some of my movements, it's called unilateral, is because in my understanding, if you're in a class classroom in school, and there's one teacher and there's 30 students. It's undivided attention that you can give. So that's the same way I'm looking when I'm training a muscle. If I'm using 2 arms, then I have to divide my attention on how I'm training. But if I use a unilateral system and I'm only using one arm, contracting one part, then I can use all my focus on this one side instead of contracting on both sides. So a lot of times I like to do a unilateral movement because I want to promote more growth, and it gives me the ability to focus more on just one body part at the same time. So normally I try to do, I want to put my foot here, leverage, and I want to get the maximum stretch I can. I don't want to disengage the shoulder here, but just where I'm elongating the shoulder. And then it's all about contracting here. Again, as you see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to contract and I'm going to pull here, actually. Switch legs. So you're going to see me contract here first instead of here first, which I'm causing the bicep to come into control. So I'm contracting here and then I'm pulling all the way back as I'm contracting on the rear of my lat. So you can switch to any arm. And it's just here, full and contracting all the way back. So you don't see me going like this, because that's all bicep and shoulder. So what I'm going to do is more or less try to engage my back only. And again, I believe in just a great, nice, smooth rhythm. Just contract as hard as you pull as hard. There you go, all the way back. You don't have to pause, but the maximum contraction, there you go, there you go. Perfect. Nice, good stretch. There you go, contract. Stretch, contract.
Если вы обратите внимание, у нас стоит 3 плитки, очень но действительно это очень работает.
Because it's just contracting now. Again, contract that. There you go. Good stretch, contract. Good stretch, contract. Now keep that rhythm. Keep that rhythm. Stretch, contract. Stretch, contract. There you go. There you go.
Wow. Yeah, действительно классное упражнение.
Да? So it's different, you know. I can put more weight on there, and I can yell and put this, that, and other. But for me, that's like mental masturbating. It's just a show for everybody else. It's not really the workout. So if you really want to, contract in a muscle, I suggest you try to unit them out. You can move the weight up a little more if you want, but it doesn't take a maximum amount of weight to do this. And again, you just want to get a nice stretch and a good contraction. And again, you see I'm holding it by my bicep, but as I get ready, I'll disengage the bicep and let the lat come to play. And then I engage the lat from the air. And you see through the whole rep range, you'll barely see my bicep come into play. I'll keep it out of play as much as possible. But if I bring it into play, you'll see it bring it here, and I have to twist my arm over and engage it. So I want to keep it out of play as much as possible. Good. Good contract, good. All the way through back here. Like a lot of people before would always wonder, how did I have the Christmas tree? I used to always do this exercise since I was an amateur. But you're contracting all the way to the middle of the back. You feel even the middle of the back contracting back here. Good. Perfect. Come on. All the way through. There you go. All the way through. All the way through. Good. good. All the way under. Good, good, good. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
You know, one other thing, if we're doing a movement where we had both hands, there's no way to fully get that full contraction. So you really get the middle and the lower back because it's a static movement. It keeps you from here. So when you grab and you pull here, you can contract all the way back and get that inner back and stuff. So it causes greater stress and stuff on the lower back erectors and stuff like that. Also, you'll see a lot of the times I don't even fully grip the handle because I don't want to engage this. You know, whenever you grip here, all this is engaged. So a lot of times you'll see I'll have a loose grip where I'm barely holding on to it because I don't want to engage here and turn it over. So just a slight grip, just enough to hold. Even if you have straps on, it's the same thing. Instead of going here and pulling this way. So even if you're stronger and you can't hold it just with your 4 fingers, just get a strap in there and put the strap in there and be able to keep you from engaging fully with your entire bicep and your wrists, your forearm.